everybody, and welcome to Nerdsplaining Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me, as always, my co-host, Jose Romero.
Cheers, nerds.
Cheers. Welcome all to the week in geek.
Nerd Thursday, baby.
That's how we do, baby.
We love it.
I don't have a drink like you, unfortunately, but that's not to say I'm not going to drink when we're done here. But
you're drinking,
I want to
come in spirit with me.
Drinking in spirit, and then afterwards I'm going to drink a lot to bury all the pain. But
there you go.
Wait, what's not painful is all the stuff we got to talk about.
Well, some is kind of painful. Oh, no.
Some of it depends. It depends on choices.
Really
it depends on choices.
Nothing really painful. Maybe one thing, kind of, but everything. This is like kind of a good news week, kind of whatever. It was a light week. It's a light week.
It was light but fluffy. It was like cotton candy.
There is
it was
stuff
like
to
cotton
talk
candy.
About. There's good stuff to talk about. So, let me say it's off the top here. Because it's not a big story. I didn't mention this to you earlier because I forgot. But I just have to bring this up because there was a Game of Thrones, obviously, coming out. We're all excited. Yeah. So they were talking to Matt Smith, who's one of the main characters in the new Game of Thrones, and he put on there. I read the headline popped, and I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, read this again." He's talking about he thinks there are too many sex scenes in Game of Thrones, and to that I say, nonsense. There's no such thing. That's too many.
Blasphemy!
How is that a bad thing? Someone explain to me. Am I nuts, Eric? Come on.
Game of Thrones. The reason why so many people watch Game of Thrones is like for the first two seasons, it was borderline Skinamax. That's what hooked.
You gotta hook them up.
They came for the porn. They stayed for the dragons. That's exactly how Game of Thrones sold themselves.
Oh, to the end.
Well, all the way to the last season.
I guess he's also referring to the sex scenes in this new Game of Thrones, so I guess it's gonna follow some of the same stuff. Again, what's the problem? I don't understand.
Once again, you come for the porn, literally, and you stay for all the dragons. And there's no White Walkers this time, so what's gonna be the thing? Nobody knows. That's gonna maybe there'll be more wizards and stuff. I don't know. We're gonna find out. So I mean,
and listen, and what's good with the show, and there's sex for everybody,
and
right?
Maybe there's
guy on guy, girl on girl. There's no discrimination.
Yeah,
sex all around.
Maybe a wizard has sex with a dragon like in Rick and Morty. We don't know. We don't know. We're gonna find out.
No, I'll allow it.
I don't think it counts as bestiality when it's a mythical creature. I think that's the one out.
Fair enough, but
I think.
Yeah, Matt Smith.
Unicorns be warned.
I don't know what to tell you. There's no such thing. You want to say? Yeah, I mean, come on.
You knew what you were signing up for, Matt Smith. You knew.
People say a lot of dumb shit. This is the.
It's Doctor. Who the hell do you think you are saying that kind of nonsense?
This is the second dumbest comment all year. Because we talked about not this year, but before, Scorsese saying stupid shit, Denis Villeneuve and Steven Dorff all hating on Marvel, and yada yada yada. There was Mickey Rourke who has the dumbest thing ever. I know you heard about that. His nonsense talking about Top Gun and what. He does not like the movie. Fine, I don't care. But to say Tom Cruise is irrelevant. Stop it, Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, that
he had
was
a third of his career, for Christ's sake. And I like Mickey Rourke. I do. But come on, irrelevant? Really? You want to say he can't act? You want to say you don't like his movies?
I mean, if you want to talk on social impact.
Come on. The biggest movie of the year is his. 40 years in the business.
I mean, I was about to say, Top Gun did like $1 billion. Yeah, that dude's relevant, man.
I hate to tell you. I hate to break the news to you.
Yeah.
He's not irrelevant, and there's not enough, not too many sex scenes in Game of Thrones. That's just the bottom line. It's inarguable. Sorry, guys.
Exactly. Calm down. Let's all be realistic about it. Maybe you're mad that Tom Cruise is relevant, but that doesn't mean he's not relevant.
Discussion. Fine,
That facts matter, guys.
Irrelevant.
Facts
matter. The biggest movie of the year.
Follow your sources. Make sure they're verified.
Numbers don't lie. It's black and white, dude. It's what it is. Like it, don't like it, fair enough, but irrelevant. Come on, bro. Too many sex scenes.
He's so relevant, man.
Guys are killing me. Okay, let me regroup. Let me take a sip. I'll lower it up there. But that being said,
and we go.
Let's get the bad out of the way. Let's start with the good.
Sure.
We're gonna sandwich two nerd properties, movie and shows. So we're gonna start with the movie that came out earlier. Now maybe at the same time. and that was of course Prey on Hulu, a movie
Yes.
which I was not excited about. We talked about it. I had a right not to be
We
excited.
were very concerned.
Very
We
concerned.
were very
Right, very
concerned.
concerned because it was going straight to Hulu. Not a good sign, generally speaking.
Right.
Predators has been
Look,
good.
look what happened to
It's
Batgirl.
Well, yeah,
We thought it was all safe and
and
dandy,
the
and then it
boom, they
went
got
sideways.
chopped.
So
Exact. I mean,
big
yeah, the
concerns.
whole thing going in the past. It didn't seem like a good idea, and fuck, I was wrong. I was wrong like Mickey Rourke is wrong about Tom Cruise. It's that simple because
Yeah.
this movie
Yeah.
is really good, dude. It's really good. I'm shocked I'm saying this to this day. I really am.
I
Go ahead.
I've heard a lot of people try to crap on the movie, like, oh, with the CG animals, dude. If that's your make it or break it for the movie, then just punch yourself in the face until you fall asleep, because the movie is tons
Yeah.
of fun. It is
Yep.
compelling. Everyone there gave a crap, and it shows. Even the reimagining of things, like the fact that he used the animal skull, like
That was
I
cool.
thought that was dope. Like
Yeah.
that was like so cool. The fact that it didn't look
the
like
arrow
a
things,
standard. The what?
like the arrows, instead of like those like beams, those arrows or whatever it
Yes.
shoots out. That's super dope. Yeah, very cool.
So super dope. I loved it. Was, the guys, listen, if you've been on the internet, everyone has said like how great the movie is. There's been discussions about like is a lead actress like a Mary Sue, where she get, but no, like they laid all the groundwork to show how she survived.
Yeah.
And then for all the parts, you're like, well, that's exaggerated. We're like, yeah, it's an action movie. It's all exaggerated. Like you can't do. I literally just saw a movie on Netflix called Carter. Have you seen this one?
Oh,
It
God.
is
It's ridiculous.
It is
so
so over the top
so
bananas but no one's saying shit about it. That movie doesn't follow physics or reality. It makes superhero movies look grounded.
That shit wouldn't survive
bananas.
in the realm of
and
dreams.
no one says anything.
We'll get to that in a minute, but yeah,
exactly.
Thank
you. So like for everyone who's like, oh, but the girl, like, shut up. If you are gonna say anything about Prey, then you should be protesting in the streets over Carter. Like that's just let's just get it right.
So bad. But yeah, but Prey, it's legit, man. I know some people say it's better than the first one. I would never go as far as to say that. That's blasphemous. I get it. I'm not gonna argue with you.
There was something about the first one.
Right.
There's something about the first one, mostly because we didn't know what the Predator was. So it was like, what is that thing? Right. What's stalking him? It was very on edge. Mm-hmm. This one, I like the fact that they made the Predator look scarier. Maybe it's because it's hundreds of years older and where the case is. It was both big and intimate all at the same time. Like it was a very small story about this tribe, but because we know what it's connected to, the implications were so much bigger. And of course, so many people have said, oh, I want to see more Predator movies like this in different time periods. So people were brought up like, I want to see Samurai Predator, I want to see Pirate Predator, I want to see Civil War Predator. I'll do you one better. If you use different movie genres to put Predator in, give me 1980s melodramatic character pieces. Give me the big chill, and then the Predator shows up. I want to see that sort of like a couple who's realizing their marriage is ending, and then the Predator shows up. I want that.
That's not bad. I'll watch that. And hopefully they put it in theaters. I don't get it.
Oh yeah,
I don't
know why
they didn't put it in theaters. I'm not saying this would have gone gangbusters. It wouldn't, but I think it would have done okay.
It would have done well.
I mean, based on what about the reviews were 90% Rotten Tomatoes. People have been liking. I'm surprised they didn't look at me and watched it, which I'm sure they didn't think. You know what? Let's rethink this. I just didn't understand that. Particularly not watching it, it's like it's legit.
I heard it had something to do with the fact when Disney bought Fox, they didn't want to go. If it went to theaters, they would have to pay money out. So this is screw it. But then they said they have to put it on streaming, or else HBO would have gotten first rights to it. So they just dumped it on Hulu.
I mean, if that's
to circumvent all that. And so I mean that's what I heard. So if that's the case, once again, it's business shenanigans. Who knows what? But at least we got it. At least we got to see it, which is more than we can say for Batgirl. So yeah, I'm cool.
Super surprised. It's one of my favorite movies this year. It hasn't been a great year for film, but definitely
Yeah.
up there. For me, top five. It's not. What's my favorite movie? Everything. Oh, everything. Yeah, for the
For
year.
the year,
Top five for the
for the
year.
year,
Everything,
absolutely,
everywhere, all at once is still my
absolutely,
favorite movie of the year.
absolutely.
Um, and I got thrown in. I gotta see. It's hard. It hasn't been a great year, to be honest with you. But for sure, my number one is that. This is in the top
You
five, four,
you
five.
you, you, you got it somewhere in that
Oh
five.
no,
You
look,
have
yeah,
to
I
put
agree.
in
Yeah, Top
Top
Gun's probably
Gun
two or
just
three.
because.
If I would say, I love Top. Yeah, for sure,
Right, it's
absolutely,
in
no
that
doubt.
five for sure.
Yeah, and
You
then
have to
maybe
do
the
it.
Batman,
Yeah,
maybe. I got to think about it, but just off the top of my head, real quick, I just know what the number one is. But this is definitely top five. It's a lot of fun. It's so much better than any bits being. Let's be honest, we were wrong.
yeah,
I admit it.
yeah. It really does. It is
Yep.
better than expected, and I don't know why it's that good. But then you look at it because
Yep.
everyone
It
there
worked.
brought their A
It
game. They
worked.
put on their big boy pants and
Yeah,
their war paint and
it
did
was
a
really good.
thing, and
So
it came out great.
kudos to them,
They
and I
cared.
think
They
yeah,
cared.
and
They cared.
what's good
That's what
is
it is.
well, could be
They
good or
cared.
bad. I expect another one of these. I'll still be a little apprehensive, but let's see who's behind it, what kind of story they're gonna go with. But I'm on board now. They hooked me up like one more time. Was sucked
Yeah.
in. Just when you think you're out, suck
Hopefully,
you right in.
hopefully the sequels will be Prey and then like a time
Yeah.
period or something like that, and you would be able to see that. And of course, before we move on, just a quick mention: it was cool to see
Yeah.
the flintlock gun be reintroduced, but then you're like,
Right. I
so
was
how do
thinking the
they
same
get it
thing.
back? And then when you saw the credits, the ships coming, and I'm like, do they just murder the tribe, or does the tribe, the predators respect them, or like everybody blame it on the colonizers, get the gun, and we're out. Like, who knows what's gonna happen?
I
I
know who
don't
knows
know.
the writer of Prey 2. Hello, coming to a
That's right.
theater near you, hopefully. From there, let's stick with Marvel. We got a little Ironheart news here, and I assume you saw the pictures, Eric.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
Wait a minute. The sequel, Eat, Love, Pray.
wow. See, this is when I will allow Mickey Rourke to say Eric the Servant is irrelevant. I would buy that. I am with you, Mickey Rourke, on that.
Julia Roberts in Eat, Love, Pray, and then the Predator shows up. I'm telling you, it is gold.
It's gold, Jerry. It's gold. Gone off the rails. So Ironheart. So we got some pictures
All right,
of
Ironheart.
this
Yes.
highly anticipated Marvel show, I guess. But yeah, the show. I mean, it's not a big news, but it was kind of cool to
let
see
me just say this:
the suit.
it's highly anticipated. It's highly anticipated because she's going to be in Black Panther 2, and a lot of eyes are on that.
Oh, I
If
mean,
you want to
yeah,
launch a character,
she would be. Yeah.
Black Panther 2 is so it's great. And I got to tell you, the photos of the suit as you said, and I'm really excited about that because that suit is the ultimate Iron Man suit, which is one of my favorite designs. I was actually kind of bummed out that I never got to see Robert Downey Jr. in that suit because it's one of my favorite Iron Man suits. So it's cool to see her in that. But then I got even more excited because I don't know if you have photos of it, that they showed that the villain of the series is going to be the
right
Hood.
Here, I do actually indeed the Hood. Yeah, that picture, couple pictures of him in his Little Red Riding Hood outfit.
And if you don't know the Hood, I love the Hood. The Hood is like a failed thug. Just sucks. Imagine Peter Parker, like when they created the Hood, his name is Parker Robinson. He was supposed to be the villain analog to Spider-Man. Spider-Man's got the Parker luck where everything goes bad for him. His girlfriend's pregnant. He can't provide. He's like, man, I got to do a score. And then while doing a score for some supervillain, he ends up finding this red hood cloak and he puts it on. He gets imbued with magic powers and he gets these guns that shoot energy blasts. And slowly but surely, because of this, he starts to build up his criminal empire. As a matter of fact, during the Dark Reign era of Marvel Universe, which happened after Civil War happened, and Norman Osborn had taken over Shield. I know he took over Shield. It's crazy. The Hood became the new kingpin of crime, and he was the kingpin of super crime, and it was dope. Like, it was one of my favorite eras. The street level Avengers, who are called the New Avengers, went consistently up against him. He's the one who formed the new Masters of Evil. It was great. I'm a huge Hood fan, so I was so excited to see that the Hood was going to be the bad guy in this. I heard rumors that Agatha Harkness is going to be like his consigliere in a sense. She's going to be like they're consulting him on how to use magic stuff. I know. I got to tell you, I'm a little. I got me excited about it. I want to see it. It looks cool. If the suit is what it looks like, then I know they're gonna make the hood look even better. And here's a cool thing too: the hood is actually connected to Dormammu, so there is a Doctor Strange magic connection to that as well. So that's why it all sort of makes
Well,
sense.
I would
So
assume so because he seems a little too street level to go up against
that's
Ironheart,
why
right? I
the
mean, he needs
suit beats him up.
something, right? You know,
And I like the idea of this one. It's science versus magic. I
right?
like
That's
that.
cool. That's a good premise. I like that.
Yeah,
That's not bad. That could be an
yeah.
interesting premise. But I'm sure we'll get this is next year though, right? Yeah, it isn't
I,
obviously it's next
next
year.
year, next year.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah.
late next year. So when I don't expect much as in terms of trailers until like probably February, March of next
But,
year for that matter.
and
But
if you want a taste of what she brings to the table, Black Panther 2 is
that
in
man too,
November.
yeah,
So
what's
yeah.
gonna happen? Yeah, I'm not sure if she's gonna be the fully formed character yet. I don't know if she's gonna get introduced
But you're gonna
or
see her proto, and that's cool. Like
maybe
it
like
gets you
yeah,
excited
like
to see
you
what's
know,
gonna happen next.
she's building to that. I'm sure we're gonna get something to that effect. I guess that's what
Sure.
I'm assuming. That'll be her introduction, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so interested about that. But what's coming out sooner and even more exciting and making that superb because last week I talked about there was gonna be for a few weeks anyway. It's gonna be Andor, She-Hulk, Game of Thrones, and Lord of the Rings all in the same weekend, right? Every week for the
Right.
show. We can add now Rick and Morty to that mix.
That's right, baby.
Another fantastic show which has done multiverse 100,000 times better than Marvel has to this point. It's hard to argue that. They really have. The trailer came out. I didn't see a trailer. I didn't want to get anything spoiled. Want to go in blind, if you will. But Eric, I assume you saw it.
I saw the trailer. Tons of homages. There's references to X-23 with the two claws coming out. Rick does a version of like dropping his arms off, and robot arms comes in and starts doing like he's got repulsor rays. There's great. Jerry is of course just a pathetic garbage human being that Rick abuses on every given turn. Like one of my favorite jokes in the trailer, and I don't know if this is a riff on Bruce Willis or Bruce Willis's unfortunate genetic mental disorder state that he's in right now, where I think so. I'll do the bit, and you tell me what you think. Is they're in an arcade, they're being shot at, and Rick tells Morty's sister, Summer, do a Die Hard, like just go into the vents and hit him and then run away. And she's like, I'm 17, I've never seen Die Hard. He goes, well, that means you and the star have something in common, so that tracks. You guys are doing great. And I was like, "Ooh, that's good." It made me laugh a little.
It's vintage Rick and Morty. Too soon, but I'm a Bruce Willis fan. But what the? Who cares?
Listen, I'm a Bruce Willis fan, and I'm like, touche. That was good. That was good.
But yeah, no, listen, I'm excited. I think it's the Labor Day weekend. That's the big. Like I said, that's the 4th.
September 4th. It's the weekend that Dragon Con is in. It comes on that same, and I'm in Atlanta, so there's going to be something going on with that because. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Big week. Now it's 5 shows on that week for a couple weeks, and for the rest of the month, probably the majority of the show. That's a pretty big nerd week, so nerd month.
I mean, August, September is going to be fantastic.
Something going on. So yeah, it's something. I can't wait. And I did talk to the creator for his name, whatever his name is, but he's saying that's
Justin Rowland or you're talking.
Writer, I forget it. Like the name's escaping me, but I read an article.
The guy who created Community.
I don't quote me. What the article was with one of them, but they were saying this season's bananas. And they really put a lot of work into it. We're excited, so I can't wait. I'm excited about this. We love this show. Who doesn't?
I can't believe I forgot the guy who created Community because I'm a huge. Dan Harmon.
Okay, it wasn't Harmon. There we go. Yeah.
So it's Justin Rowland. Okay.
So, I can't wait for this show. It's so good. Even Mickey Rourke like this show. Hello. Not a lot of text in it too, so everybody wins Matt Smith. So let's move on to a story which I debate even talking about, but I'm just tired of talking about this guy. Tired of fucking Ezra Miller. More nonsense. Putting the movie Flash in jeopardy. My desire to see Michael Keaton donning the cowl once more is in jeopardy because fucking guy, he's a fucking idiot. So, Warner Bros. Finally spoke out because they've been pretty silent throughout this whole thing. We ain't gonna get into all this shit.
Right.
But I know recently he got it. I guess they found him, whatever. because he was AWOL for a while, and I guess he got charged with burglary. He
Right.
stole some liquor. Not the worst thing in the world. Whatever. He didn't kill anybody. Whatever, right? I there is some hope there because I heard and I saw a picture with his mom is now like on him the whole time. So we know how we do it. When mom's
That
around,
means
you
nothing.
tend to curb the
That means
behavior.
nothing.
Mom gets involved in your life. Oh shit, hit the fan, and it's time to curb the behavior. Moms are good with that. I'm just saying. Maybe
Um,
it's a step
Look,
in the right direction.
maybe the reason he's
You
like
know,
this is because of his mom.
it's
Maybe that's it. Maybe
possible,
she's part of the
but
problem.
at least to see it there, whatever. But I guess so. Warner Bros. Finally spoke out, and they finally, I guess, had alluded to the fact that they have come up with 3 options in terms of what's going to happen to the Flash, right? Because apparently now he's going to be seeking help.
Okay.
Okay, that's good for him, right? Fuck it. He got something going on. He's got issues. We all know that. Fine, get help, whatever.
Sure.
Listen,
Yeah.
I think the first star's gone through this shit. Robert Downey Jr. went through his shit too, and all of a sudden, look at him now, right?
Yeah.
Let's be
Yeah.
honest, right? So it happens to a lot. Fair enough. We all do stupid shit. We drink it and young. Fine. By the way, he's getting treatment or help, or whatever. So the options are basically the plan was to move forward with Flash. If he gets the help as he claims or whatever, then they'll allow him to, I guess, partly promote the film. Right? Fine. Option 2, if he doesn't get the help, he's not going to be anywhere near anything of the promotions as far as the movie, but they're still going to release it. Okay. The last thing is basically if something else happens, which is entirely possible given his track record of the last 6 months, they'll just scrap it entirely. If something else will come about that's worse than stealing liquor or whatever, or more issues come up.
Do you think that's another reason why they canceled Batgirl to sort of like that scene from with Eddie Murphy in the 48 Hours when he shoots him? He goes, anybody else want to know? Anybody? I'll do it.
Maybe
I don't care.
setting him straight.
I'm
It could be a
crazy.
diversion and say, look here, but look, Batgirl. And Owen behind the curtain, we got the Flash nonsense going on, but he keeps kind of forgetting about it. But listen, so it's clear HBO's not an option. That's now off the table. Either they're gonna show
Completely.
it, whether
Completely.
his presence is there for promotion purposes or not, that remains to be seen. But HBO Max, we're not going to say when HBO Max. Either going to get released, it's going to get scrapped. That's it. So now we know that they mentioned it from the horse's mouth. That's the way it's going to be. Fair enough. We'll see. Hopefully, listen. And this, first and foremost, he's already been fired. This is they haven't said anything, but there's no way he's ever going to play the Flash ever again. That's clear. They haven't said anything. I get why. Forget that notion.
At the very least, they're going to recast him for the sequel.
Of course, yeah.
At the very most, they're going to recast him at the end with an extra credit scene that he has no idea about.
Maybe he has an idea about it. But yeah, this is his last turn. He's just going to be used to promote the film on a limited basis or not. That's it. Or he gets scrapped. So just saying there's a chance, right? We can still get Michael Keaton, the cape, the cowl.
Listen, all my hopes on Keaton.
And I keep bringing
all my hopes on Keaton.
They like the film. I like the film because David Zaslav, he's not shy about dropping the axe. So if he liked what he saw,
right? Oh yeah,
he just would announce it saying, "Forget, it's not worth the trouble. It's not worth the trouble," right?
Listen, this movie could be like Prey, where it's better than it should be. Who knows?
It could be next year's Prey.
It could be.
But
who knows?
But they talked about it, they liked it, which is why they're still trying to push it.
If we can at least get it, if DC figures out a way to release it and then move as fast as the Flash away from Ezra Miller,
I think the minute,
so let's just
the weekend
focus on that.
Maybe a week or two after the announcement comes, where he's no longer with Warner Bros. It's an inevitability. It happened with Ben Affleck, same thing. When he obviously wasn't going to direct the Batman anymore, and they got Matt Reeves, and he's talking about, I'll play anything. I'll play a monkey for Matt Reeves. He's been a good soldier, good for him. But we all knew a couple weeks later. Oh yeah,
I mean technically he was doing the monkey role during the promotions.
Right, we had to do a professional, right? Okay, but we all knew, and he knew it was a done deal. It was already the writings on the wall. The contracts were signed. They already moved forward. So there's nothing different here. But yeah, so. There's still a chance. I mean, whatever it is, he's got to stay clean for 8 months. I don't know if that's going to happen. At least he don't.
Stop. But, I look forward to buying the bootleg of the
Release the
Flash.
machete cut. It's gonna be the next big thing, the big movement. Maybe like in 5 years they'll drop it on HBO Max or whatever the case is. But yeah, it's kind of a shame. Hopefully, stay out of trouble. Mom, do your job for Christ's sake. God, be a fucking parent here. Um,
You have
one
one
job.
job.
Take care of your kid. That's all you gotta do. I'm not asking a lot here. I'm not asking the world. Just do what you gotta do. So now, let's get to the last bit of the sandwich here. The part that really got me excited. Because we were both really highly anticipating The Sandman on Netflix. Neil Gaiman's novel, graphic novel, which I adore. 30 years old. I didn't know he's that old. Jesus. It makes me feel young. Finally got the adaptation.
Bill holds up, by the way.
Of course it does. Yeah. I haven't read it recently, but within, I'd say, last 7-8 years, I may have gone back and read part of the issues. So yeah, this finally dropped, man. So your thought, let's start with you, man. What do you think about this? I actually finished watching it today. I saw last episode a couple hours ago.
I was so pleasantly surprised. It felt like Prey. It was better than I thought it was going to be. Because this movie's been in like development hell for years. It's gone through so many hands, so many versions. Is it perfect? No. Is it really good? Yes. It is. There's the moments that they captured like 86% of the book there. A lot of it is aesthetic choices that I would have gone another way on. Primarily, Dream looked like a dude instead of looking like Dream, because Dream is supposed to have like bone white skin. His eyes are supposed to be stars. So
it made sense to make him look like a dude.
A lot of money. I get it.
No, yeah, I mean, I get it.
It's a budget thing.
I understood. Like, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's a fair decision. I don't have a problem
with it. But at the same time, like recasting Lucifer, because there's already a TV show called Lucifer. So recasting Lucifer as what's her name, Gwendolyn? You know, she's from Game of Thrones. She was in she was in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. But this show was smart because they actually used her and made her do things, which is fantastic. Like I really enjoyed the series. Some of my favorite Sandman moments were executed so well. The challenge of storytelling in hell was great. Yeah. Loved that whole sequence. Yeah. The 24/7 diner scene, episode, which is that whole issue.
Love that episode. So good.
So good.
Gosh.
So big difference is in the comic books. In the TV show, it's a guy called John D. In the comic books, it's Dr. Destiny. He's actually an old Justice League villain. But there's a lot of like hardcore DC stuff that's supposed to be in the show that they don't do because, you know, it was. What's weird is HBO Max said no to the series, so that's why it's on Netflix. Yeah. If there was an HBO Max, you could have used all the superhero stuff. That's true. Yeah. They went the other way.
Yeah, because when I first saw this, I mean, I heard about it, but then we see the intro to the show. You see Warner Bros. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah,
something went on with that.
But it was great because it made it feel very much its own without having to connect to anything.
Absolutely.
But you know, so like the storytelling hell battle was great. 24/7 was great. When Dream hangs out with Death for the day, my god!
Fucking those two episodes to me were sensational. So
like standouts, like just incredibly, and
good storytelling.
And I cannot say this enough. The fact that I think everybody in Hollywood respects Neil Gaiman either through legal reasons or artistic reasons, that they never did something that he did in the books where there was a serial killer convention. Yeah. And so they got to do that for the first time. And I was looking at it, I was like, man, I'm amazed that idea hungry savages have not stolen this idea. And so they were able to preserve it to let us see it in Sandman. I was so excited to see that. And let's not forget how awesome the Corinthian looks. The Corinthian is like right out of the comics in terms of attitude and look. The eyes, which are mouth with teeth in it, just nightmare fuel. And I didn't realize it until like about like the third or fourth time I saw him in the show. The guy who plays a Corinthian, that's the guy who played Pierce from Logan, right?
Yeah. He was in that. He was in. Speaking of Predators, he was in the last Predator movie. He was the main guy.
That's right.
The protagonist on that, right? I saw him recently in a movie called Vengeance. But yeah, no, yeah, it was him. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I knew from the beginning. I knew he was going to be in it. I didn't know who he was playing, and it seems like they gave the Corinthian more to do in this than I remember him in the comics, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember having this
Oh
big
yeah, they
role.
gave him a
Yeah, they got
lot
a lot more
more
to
to
chew
do
on,
it.
which is
Yeah,
cool
he's
because he was,
the overarching
yeah, he's a
villain.
really good character. I'm like, oh, there's more here to them. I guess there's some minor changes, but they stayed so faithful to the source material, and I'm glad they didn't do what you expect because this is like a fantasy kind of show. It's a lot of elements to it, right? But it's obviously got a heavy fantasy kind of vibe to it. That scene when battling with Lucifer, they really could have gone a different direction with that, right? If it was in anybody else's hands, I think they would have gone something a
Yeah,
little more typical battle kind of thing. Would have lost something about it, and maybe just some of the other episodes they could have just given it more meat when they didn't need it, right? We don't need the big fancy explosions or this grandiose stir that we don't need that, right? And this show stuck to its guns, right? Did exactly the storytelling, their characters. This whole book is about almost like an anthology, right? And they did a good job with that. I think they did up to the Dollhouse was
yeah,
the book Dollhouse was the last 4 episodes,
yeah.
right?
Dollhouse was it? Right,
I
right,
can't wait
right.
to God. I hope there's a second season. I really do, because there's so much good shit coming up. I really hope. I mean, I know
I
it's
know,
open
I
up number
know.
one show on Netflix for whatever that's worth. It's got a lot of good positive vibe from what I'm hearing. So I hope they get a second season because I really want to see what's coming. It's so good. We're gonna get more of
Yeah,
design.
especially
Yeah,
because you know what's going to happen
right.
next.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it,
That's
but
going to
yeah, it's
be
gonna
and, and
awesome.
and what I loved about what the series did as well, which the comic book has done magnificently. Was such a big fan of is they introduce people like almost tangentially, and then that person has an effect on the story 6 episodes
Right.
later because and it's not like directly them. It's like someone they know adjacently or like their relative or something like that. And that's the thing that I loved about the book and I loved about the series is that the dream Morpheus, he is one of the endless. So for him, time is 80 years is the equivalent of a week
Right.
to him. Like it's like, oh, okay. So if you were doing something episodic, this all would be happening in the course of a week. This series takes place in the course of like 150 years, but for him, it's essentially a week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because
And like I loved all
I
that.
know
Like, that was
well, hopefully audience take to it because again it's some non-linear stuff in here. It's a different kind of show. Again, it's not typical series. I mean, it has an overarching story, but this like again with anthology within this major story, that's not typical stuff you see on
yeah,
TV. People, I hope people like it. That's one of the things that drew me to the comic was like, oh, all these cool stories within stories. That's what it's about, right? Awesome, and they stuck to the guns, man. They didn't make any
yeah.
wild, crazy changes, which would have ruined it. And I'm surprised they went that route. To be honest with you, I wasn't expecting
Very
this faithful of an adaptation.
well because I think it's
Because Gaiman
because
was involved,
Gaiman
right?
I think it's because Gaiman
Of
is
course,
in,
right?
and
Yeah,
that's
this
why.
is his
And
baby.
like
I get
I,
it.
I was actually talking to a buddy of mine. I was like, if I had to do any kind of like nitpicky change, my one thing, and it's because this person was connected to this property for a while back, is that David Fincher was originally connected, attached to doing the Sandman. I was like, I would have liked to seen David Fincher's like dirtiness on the edges of it, and then my buddy responds back. He goes, "Yeah, but Gaiman's doing it, and it's clean because in a dream, sometimes everything's very
Yeah,
pristine, and so it's very clean. So of course that's why he would, because he's the Lord of Dream. I was like, you know what, that's a really good
yeah,
call. I didn't even think about that.
yeah.
So
Agreed.
my one little nitpick just threw out right there. I was like, yeah, doesn't matter anymore. Good,
No, no,
I'm
no.
in.
It's I
So
didn't have any complaints. It was so good. It was everything I hope it was, and it was ultimately right. Really good. I mean, it's a home
yeah,
run for me.
and if you haven't seen it,
Oh, you gotta watch it.
watch
Watch.
it. It is one of those things where people who if they're like, oh, I kind of feel like there's like a comic book fatigue, show them this and go, and then when they goes, that's a comic book, and
Yeah,
that's just one of many versions of what a comic book can
of
be.
course. Yes.
Because like I'm actually excited because Netflix now is starting to do like they're really cementing their corner of like I don't want to say weird, but artistic comic books, whether it's the Umbrella Academy or Sandman. Like get those experimental, those unique comic book voices in there because there's a place for that in Netflix,
Of
and it
course.
is enjoyable. And I want to see more
Yeah,
stuff like
God,
that.
God, I really hope. And it's funny because I'm watching it. I didn't have my girlfriend watch it with me because she didn't have the time. Number one, but I was like, this is not gonna be a kind of show. It's not. So every so often when I'm watching, she'll come sit down on the phone and I have episode 7, 8, whatever. It's a couple of the last bits and pieces of the last couple episodes. She's watching it, and afterwards like, oh man, that was pretty cool. Yeah, can you go back and watch it? No problem. That's how I know I think the show is legit because she kind of hooked it, and this is not her kind of thing. She loves superhero shit, but this is not what this is. It's not.
Oh, and by the way, another extra little bit of awesomeness: the end credit scenes are homages to the original covers to the comics that were created by Dave Keown. So I'm like beyond ecstatic of how good the whole thing was, because just when you think like, man, they were really slavish to the source material, they're like, oh, and by the way, don't forget the covers. And those are the end credits, and just slightly move like, oh my god, this is so
and once
awesome.
I knew they hit, because the 2 episodes I was looking forward to was the 24/7, and then was the she's got wings or whatever with death. Those are the two that I was waiting. Okay, I want to get to this episode because those are the two that really hit home when I read the book. What do you do in this, man? They knocked that apart. The rest could have been okay, and as long as that was great, I would have been totally fine with it.
See, to me, I had the 4 standard. I wanted the storytelling battle in hell, 24/7 on her wings, and then the serial convention. Those are my 4. Like if you could hit those 4, that's my square of like excellence. And they did, and just like at no point did I feel like I'm bored. Like this is a filler. Like it's all, and like little stuff like the John Constantine to Joanna Constantine. Like I'm not even a problem. Like fun.
I don't pick up issues. You pick up issues, all that kind of shit, and what. Who cares?
Like on. To me, if I never knew John Constantine, I'd be like, I want to know about that chick, and I feel that it's just as interesting because it's the character's interesting. Who cares if it's a guy or girl? The character's interesting, man. So
whatever. No issue with that whatsoever. Oh, by the way, and Desire. I know there wasn't a lot of this, but dude, that casting was fucking great.
Because
I wish it was more
the actor they have for Desire, it's a non-binary or
whatever the
right, and I mean, if you're gonna get a non-binary actor, Desire is the character you play, because that is like expert level scene chewing in every moment.
But we're gonna get more Desire, obviously. But I wish we had it more early on. So I'm excited to see more because that perfect casting. You're right. Chewing up scene like crazy. It was great.
Yeah, and all of it warranted, and like it built. It never felt like trying too hard. It's like, what is, like, if you didn't know what was going on, you're like, who is this? What? And but you can't. Whenever Desire's on, you cannot look away. Yeah. You're like captivated, seeing the subtle machinations that Desire. It's just so good. Like a solid 9. It is an A- show.
Yeah, easily. I'll get A, 9.5. I mean, it was really good. I mean, I guess I don't have any big complaints, to be honest with you. I mean, if you want to get, I could always get nitpicky, but it just
like you want to get nitpicky, but overall,
like, it looked great. Effects look good.
Like straight up, I'm in the middle of watching it again just because I enjoyed the ride. Like that's how good this is.
Yeah, I'm watching my girlfriend. Next week I'm gonna see it again, no doubt about it. And now I can sit down and enjoy it more, knowing what I saw. Okay, and then I can you probably pick up more stuff to it. But I want to get an idea of maybe if she does like the whole thing. We'll see. Cause she liked what she saw, but it was just bits and pieces. And I think when she started kind of catching bits and pieces, it was already into the probably episode 7 by then, around there, maybe 6. So she missed the entire beginning, and again, she only caught 10 minutes here and then 10 minutes of them.
Yeah, man.
But she liked what she saw, right? She was interested.
It's fantastic.
You gotta watch. We'll watch it again. So I'm definitely gonna put it on again soon and catch that. But yeah, kudos to them. Thank God they didn't fuck this up, because I didn't want to see Jupiter's Legacy, right? Kind of deal. Not that it was a terrible show, but it wasn't this. Let's be honest.
Right.
It's night and day. So yay, good for them.
Right.
Yeah, because I hope I know they got more Mark Miller properties coming out. I hope they do a better job. Like they learn from something like this.
Absolutely.
Right.
Learn from this. Learn from this.
Because he has a lot
Absolutely.
of shit too. I want to see more Neil Gaiman shit too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there's other shows like Good Omens.
Absolutely.
Very good. Second season's coming out on Amazon Prime. That was really good. American Gods didn't work.
American Gods
didn't work yet. The first season was really good, but they ruined that shit. But
because it went away from what Neil was
that's
doing.
What I'm saying.
What
it
it came down to.
The source material when he was trying to, and when they got different showrunners, it was a mess. The show just became a mess. But the first season was really cool. I was like, man, this is gonna be great. And okay,
so
you got 1 year, right? Whatever. Season 2. Come on, guys. Watch this show, guys.
As long as Neil stays in and they stick to the source material, you're good, man. You're good.
You don't have to change shit. You don't have to make that many changes to what he's
Yeah.
doing. Stick to the plan.
He's saved you all the work. Just do it. Just this there. Go make that.
Right.
85% of this
exactly.
there.
That's what
That
happened with Game of
updated from
Thrones. There was
today,
no
but
plan,
there.
and
That's it.
not their fault, but you know.
Source material ended, so they made it up as they went along. So this one's all done. You don't have to worry about it. It's all done.
And I'm not sure he's gonna be involved in the second season. I hope he is, because I would like, I hope so too.
I hope so too. I think he's gonna.
At least
this is his baby.
I don't know how involved he was in anything else, but at least from a producer standpoint, other people can see what they've done and continue that. That's not a problem. Yeah.
Right. No, I think he's gonna be. I think this is the show where he sticks the whole way through. I think if any show, this is the one.
Realistically, 4 or 5 seasons out of this, maybe 3 or 4.
I would say 3, 4.
I'd say 4. It depends. Yeah.
3, 4. Really tight because there's like 7 or 8 trades, and it is one season went through 2 trades worth right over there. So if you do like 3, 4, but no more than 4. I think 5 you're stretching it out.
You're looking at 3 seasons, maybe 4, maybe depending on how they present it.
I think 4 is if you want to give it something a space to breathe, you make it 4. If you want to make it really tight, you do it 3.
Because there's so much good stuff in this book. They're just scratching the surface.
Yeah,
as good as the season was, they're really just scratching the surface what this has to offer. They really are.
Yeah, this is all groundwork.
Exactly.
This is all groundwork for what's to happen next.
Stuff, more of the endless and all that. So, but yeah, so on that note, on a positive note, no thanks to Mr. Mickey Rourke.
Hell yeah.
The nuggets for the week.
And that has been the show. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all the love you're giving us. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, because that really helps us in the channel. If you like this show, check out all the shows on the Latin Nerd Network. We have the watch list. We got Thanos' Choice. We got Nerdsplaining. We got more shows coming on. In fact, there'll be some stuff that me and Jose were going to be announcing in October that's loosely connected to this, that builds into other stuff too. And we'll have more information for that coming up for you as well. Don't forget to go like us on social media. At Nerdsplaining Pod on Instagram, at Nerdsplaining _ at Twitter. If you want to hear all the original audio episodes, go to ericdasilva.com. All the original audio episodes are there on the landing page. Don't forget to pick up my album, Adorably Offensive. It's a great gift to everyone. And I will be going on the road starting next year as well, so we'll be giving you more updates for that as well. Guys, as always, I have been Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know, now you know.